Hi students, I am Deepak Babur from New Catholic Mission School, Jhabwa. I welcome you to this class. Students of 10th class, we are going to study today third lesson from the first flight and the third lesson, second part. First flight, part second. The name of the second part is Black Aeroplane. Through picture you can understand that the name of the chapter is, or name of the second part is Black Aeroplane. So this aeroplane is completely black. We are going to get the concept, we are going to understand the concept of this lesson through studying this lesson. So let us first go through the introduction part. In this story, what are the things we are going to understand or study? The narrator was flying to England to enjoy his holidays. Of course, narrator, the pilot himself, he was flying to England to enjoy his holidays. He wanted to reach England in time so that he could enjoy a good English breakfast with his family. From the introduction part, we can understand that the pilot's residence was in England, and he wanted to spend some time with his family members, and therefore he was foreseeing, or he was just imagining a good breakfast, because finally he was about to enjoy good breakfast with his family members. So it says further, you can understand there, the aeroplane, his pilot or narrator's aeroplane is this one, and this picture also indicates, or it gives some information we are going to study here. The trip to England, whose trip? We understand that a pilot, he was flying aeroplane to England and he was about to reach there. The narrator was flying his aeroplane at night or French to England. It means he was flying his aeroplane over France to England. He was flying over France. He was too eager to meet his family and began to dream his holiday. We understand that a pilot is a person, most of the time he has to spend his days alone in the aeroplane, as well as airplanes, and then other places. So he was away for many days from his family members. He started dreaming his good time. He started dreaming his good breakfast with his family members. Everything started just imagining flying aeroplane, and the mind activity was going on in his mind. The sky was clear and the stars were shining in the sky when he took off. At that point of time, sky was completely clear, no clouds, no rain, nothing. It was very transparent, or it was very clear. But in between something happened, we will understand. Even the city Paris could be seen down below, and he called Paris control to get instructed about the way. He was instructed to turn 12 degrees west. Through these lines we understand, even he was flying and could see below. The city Paris was clear to him. He could see some of the things clearly, and he thought to get instruction from control room where they're supposed to get instructions meanwhile flying aeroplane. So he got instruction, and the instruction was, he was instructed to turn 12 degrees west, because roads and the trains, this means of transportation, they run according to the directions. In the same manner, aeroplanes and boats. This sea transport means of transports, they also run according to the direction. They are directed or they are instructed by a person who sits in the office, and he keeps on instructing, keeps on directing, keeps on showing them ways. So in this case also, the aeroplane pilot, he was instructed by the person, and he was asked to take turn 12 degrees west. Dear students, pictures are not visible properly, but you can see this is a storm and this is Paris city. His aeroplane is flying over the city. Fear of storm. Now the storms and the heavy rain, storms, all these events or all these factors, they are fearful for the person or for the people who are flying or who are driving trains or boats. So in this case, the fear, he was experiencing certain fear of dying, fear of destruction. So many ideas were taking place in his minds, that looking at the storm. Till this time everything was going. Of course, we understand that he was flying over the city, Paris, and the sky was completely clear, everything was fine. But then now he was get into danger. How? Before he saw the storm clouds, and Paris was about 150 kilometers behind him. Means he saw from far away, it was quite away from him, it was about 150 kilometers behind him. What? Clouds and storms. It was natural for narrator to panic. Panic means having fear. Panic means having a type of fear which was just insisting him to be afraid, because he knew that it was not possible to fly up and over those storm clouds. Of course, pilots, they are very trained people. They understand the situation, they understand the atmosphere, what type of atmosphere is suitable to fly in the sky. Everything they understand. So he understood, he studied the situation, he studied the atmosphere, and he knew that this is not a good atmosphere to fly in the sky. So he was having lot of pain and lot of some type of fear, because that was not possible to fly up and over those storm clouds. He was confused for a moment. Now he was confused because he was on the way to England. He cannot go back to the place where he is coming from. He was in the middle of the way. So he was completely confused where to go. He cannot go back. He has to go forward. Therefore, he was confused for a moment, and he took the right decision. What was the right decision? The decision he took was to continue his journey towards England. So, a risk but a brave decision of the author. Yes, I told you, he took a decision. It was a risk, but it was a brave decision. The condition, the situation was not in favor of him, but then he made the situation in his favor, and he took a risk. As everything was fearful at the moment, the narrator decided to risk and flew into the storm. The moment he felt storm, The moment he felt fear to face the situation, to face the terrible situation that was storm in front of him, but he could not give it up. He tried to take a risk and continue his journey towards England, and he flew. He flew into the storm. Whatever happened, let it be. But he continued. But everything went out of control. Yes, everything went out of control. The terrible situation did not support his journey. The terrible situation could not help him out to get out of the dangerous situation. So it was out of his control. How? See, the compass as well as other instruments stopped working. Aeroplane has different instruments. Pilots, the people who travel in it, they are completely dependent on the instruments. If the instruments they stop working, pilots and people, they are helpless. They cannot hope for good. So same thing happened with pilot too. Compass stopped working, the other instruments all stopped working. He was unable to see outside. Even the fearful, dangerous storm was not helping pilot to see outside. So the plan as well as the plane was jumping and twisting, because we understand the instruments and the compass and all the instruments stopped working. So this plane just reacted. We can say that it started jumping and twisting in the air. Suppose a tire of a vehicle get punctured, what will happen? We experience certain unbalance. So same thing happened with this aeroplane, because the instruments stopped working, it started jumping and twisting in the air. Next point says he tried to contact Paris control but couldn't. Now in such difficult situation, pilot tried to contact to Paris control, where he can get help to come out from terrible situation. But at last, or anyhow, he could not get contact because of the terrible situation. He was lost in storm, and now he cannot see outside. So he completely lost in the storm. Storm, the smokes, the particles of mud, everything mixed in the sky, and this aeroplane was not visible from outside. At the same time, this pilot was also not visible, or he could not see outside. What are the other objects? He was unable to notice everything outside, because he was also completely mixed in the particles of mud. Dear students, here is a mystery. We understand the black aeroplane, person who is there, we don't know, but then we should not lose our hope, our trust, our courage. We should be confident all the time. Whatever we do, we should place our confidence. We should build our strength and courage and confidence to do the things well. A black aeroplane appeared. This is the time where the pilot, Dakota pilot, he experienced, or we can say that there is somebody, there is some force which always keeps us pushing, keeps us helping. Suddenly the narrator saw another black aeroplane. now what is this black aeroplane? Who is flying it, or who are traveling in this aeroplane? But the pilot saw it in the storm by his side. It was also by his side. That means Dakota pilot, he was traveling, or he was driving, he was flying, and he noticed another black aeroplane. It was also beside him or his side, without lights on its wings. Wings means these are the plates. So there were no lights, without lights. First he saw, he shocked, or he surprised what it could be. But then slowly he was able to identify it was a black aeroplane. It seemed strange. Yes, we understand that black aeroplane, there was no pilot, no people, no passengers. Of course we can say no passengers. So it seemed strange first of all, but later on he was glad to see another person in the storm. The person was not found in the aeroplane, or the person was not found in the black aeroplane, but he thought somebody could be, or somebody may be piloting the plane. So he just felt happy, or he just felt in a positive way. The pilot of another plane waved at him. Yeah, what waved? He doesn't know, but then he noticed that somebody is there in the aeroplane and signaled. He signaled, or he showed him some indication to follow. So he did. The Dakota pilot, one who was traveling towards England, he believed blindly, and he started following this black aeroplane, because he did not have other option except it. In the sky, if there is no one, then at least something is there, somebody is there. He has to believe, he has to place his trust and follow him. So except another option, he started following him, and he went after him. Dear students, a safe landing. The second last point says, you can understand the safe landing is here. The pilot, black aeroplane, he is also there, but it may be spirit. At the end of the story, it is revealed who was that. Exactly, the mystery is not revealed of the black aeroplane in this chapter. We need to just understand who could be and how the black aeroplane helped him. The narrator flew for half an hour, which was quite strange to him. Yes, narrator, more than half an hour, he flew. He flew, which was quite strange. When he was flying, he felt quite strange, because he was not making any conversation with the person. He was not communicating, just he was traveling and just thinking that somebody could be in the black aeroplane. To him, as he had fuel only for 5 or 10 minutes, very less fuel was left out in the tank, and he was just hoping positively that something could be good out of this help. He felt fearful, but suddenly he saw two bright lines. Yes, it was the time where he was about to land his aeroplane. So he saw two bright lines in front of him. It was a runway where aeroplanes used to land on, we can say. He was able to land safely, which gave him a sigh of relief. Yes, now he relaxed, because he landed his aeroplane safely without fear, and he is on the surface of the land. So he felt happy. It was just like a miracle for him, and he felt nothing can save him except miracle. So he considered it was a miracle for him. Yes, dear student, the last point says, the greatest surprise Now surprise, what was the surprise for him? At the end of the story, we see the pilot, he was just having conversation with the lady. The narrator came out from his plane to thank the pilot. Of course, black aeroplane pilot helped this person, and he came out to thank him of the black aeroplane, but he was shocked to see no one there. During the discussion or the narration of the story, we could understood that there was no pilot. Still it is said, or it is known, that there was no pilot. He went to control tower and asked the woman. He is present there in the control tower in order to know who was that, about the place and the black aeroplane. Hearing his words, the woman laughed. Woman could not do anything. She laughed. Who was that? And said that there was no other aeroplane except his. Because this woman, she could see in the sky through the equipments, or through the computer system, or through the facilities, how many planes are flying in the sky. So she was confirmed. She was confirmed, and she also made sure him that there was no one except you. Only your plane was flying, or your plane was in the sky. It was a big surprise to the narrator. Now it was a big surprise. He was shocked because he found a black aeroplane beside him, and now if he investigated who was that, then it is revealed that there was no one except his own plan. He was dumbfounded as he had no explanation for the miracle, and he could not speak, or he could not utter a word, because he considered it was a miracle. Dear students, at the end, I have just said a few questions for you. You need to go through who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane. First, who was the pilot on the black aeroplane flying the storm without lights? These things you need to understand and try to get the answer. I also request you to go through the lesson and try to find out the correct answer, at least approximate answer. The second question says, why did the Dakota aeroplane pilot follow the black aeroplane blindly and without thinking more? He could not think more. Just this pilot, he was following the person because he thought he is the person who is there to help him. So pilot could not feel negative, but then he felt positive, and he started following the person. So in this parts, or in the second part, we got the information that how in a difficult situation we can come over from the situation, and we can build our thought, we can build our faith, and we can also go through whatever situation is not in favor, but we can make it in our favor. Thank you very much.